Over 70, makeup ideas to enhance your beauty. Here's our fresh-faced model. We're going to go ahead and take a cleansing wipe that has some natural acids to help take off any dead skin, dirt, and oil. Next, on to the ice roller globes. These help with pores, minimizes lines, and also helps with circulation. So think cooling, firming, great for under the eye area. Also helps with a bit of lifting around the neck. Using one of my absolute favorite creams, the Chantecaille Biolifting. This helps with density, elasticity, and firmness. It uses plant stem cells. This also has hexapeptides, and what hexapeptides do is they help with wrinkle depth. In fact, if you use hexapeptides for a good 30 days, it can reduce the depth of a wrinkle by 30%. On to Indie Eye Cream. This helps with wrinkles, sagging, puffiness, and fine lines. It also uses plant stem cells. On to the fun part, which is the makeup. Let's go ahead and do the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palette first. Starting with the color Sophisticate, I'm putting the gold all over the lid with a loose, fluffy brush by the company called Orange. You want to work from the lash to the brow bone. Using the Hermes 05 eyeshadow palette in a cool brown taupey color, we're going to start at the lash line and we're going to work up. And the reason I am using this technique of putting matte on top of shimmer is because we want the light catching qualities of shimmer, but we don't want it to stay on the surface of the skin. So using this matte taupey cool brown will help to kick some of that shimmer back while shaping the lid. Going ahead on the other side, we're going to do the exact same technique. And as you can see, I'm softly blending that color all over the lid, starting at that lash line and working in small little circles to buff in that matte color into that shimmer shade. Now this next step is important because as you can see, I'm working at an angle with my brush to lift that outer corner of the eye, which will help to lift the eye in general. So I'm starting to shape the eye out to give a bigger, fuller, lifted appearance to the lid. Adding now this grayish brown with a little bit of gold into that matte taupey color, we're going to start building our color. So once again, from the lash line, we're going to go ahead and work up into that socket. And you see me again blending a little more onto my brush and just adding color as I go. It's better to build up your color than put too much on your brush. As you can see, we're starting to get a bit of a smoky, hazy eye on that lower lash line, lower lid area. This will help to create a fuller eyelid look, believe it or not, because we're going from dark, medium to light, which creates a nice, beautiful gradation of color across her lid. Doing the same technique as before, we're using a soft, fluffy, loose brush, and we're just working upward on that outer corner to create a nice lifted look. Let's go ahead and take a look at those steps again. Using now my Victoria Beckham Conjure Liner, I'm working on the side of the pencil and placing it as close to the lash line as possible. Then taking a small domed brush, I'm just blending that across the lash line. Very important step. This helps to set the liner and to also soften it so it's not a harsh line. Let's take a peek at the Victoria Beckham pencil color and texture. This is in the color Cacao. And we're placing that again on the lash line and then taking our little domed brush and blending that right into the skin. Take your time here to really blend and work it into that lash line and use that tip of the brush to extend it a bit out onto the corner. Just create a soft little lift out there. Using the Chanel eyelash curler, I'm going to hold it there for 3 to 5 seconds on each side. Using the Charlotte Tilbury mascara, this is really rich and black, holds the lash up and in place and leaves a nice curl. We're going to go ahead and just wiggle that at the root lash line and then wiggle up to the tips. Here's a mascara tip that might help some of you who are having a hard time placing mascara on your lashes. What you want to do is place the wand at the lash line and then blink into it. The action of blinking your eyes open and close will help to run your lashes through the mascara wand. That way you are doing less steps and not having to wiggle your hand as much. This is a great way also to create length and volume. Using the ColourPop Brow Pencil in Blonde, I'm going to go ahead and do a scribbling technique. This is where you don't have to be precise. You're really just wiggling the pencil back and forth, trying to stain the skin underneath to create the illusion of more brow volume and hair. Then you want to go towards the front of the brow and create little brow strokes upward to create a bit of a lift and a nice, soft, natural look. Going in now with the brow elf lift. Adding a little bit to the back of my hand and taking my clean mascara wand, I'm going to go ahead and run this through the brows. This will help to hold the shape. Let's go ahead and take a look at the technique once again. Scribbling the pigment onto the brow hair, doing a lift at the front, and then softly blending all the color and pigment in, and then lifting it and holding it into shape with the brow wax. Today we're going to try on the new Laura Mercier concealer, placing it around the eyes to cancel purple, blue, and green, a little bit on the sides of the nose to cancel redness, down the center of the face, forehead, nose, and chin. Then we're going to create a bit of a lift on the outer corner of the eye and cancel any purple or red that we're seeing or any spots. Now let's go ahead and buff this into the skin. I start with tapping motions and then I work in little sections to help further buff this into the skin. Work in small sections and work softly. Then go in with your finger and press it further into the skin. This helps to pick up any excess while also setting your concealer. Adding a little bit more, I'm going to go ahead and conceal a little further around the inner corner of the eye area. Once again, tapping and pressing. Using now the Westman Atelier contour stick, we're going to place this on the outer corner of the cheeks, around the forehead, a little bit down the sides of the nose, and then we're going to add a little happy face underneath the nose and underneath the lip, and finally around the jawline. First step, let's buff this around the outer edge of the forehead. This will create a more balanced forehead length. Bringing out the cheeks, we're going to go ahead and press and buff that product into the skin, then flip our brush over and we're going to do a lift technique where we work up at an angle. You want to work from the outer corner of the eye up to the lower part of the ear and don't go past that section. That will help to create a nice lift around the cheekbone area. Creating a nice chiseled jawline. I'm just blending that onto the jawline ridge and then letting it overlap a little onto the cheek and a little down under the neck. Let's soften the shape of the nose with a little contour, working on each side, blending in really well, and then going underneath the nose, working backwards to help with the length. A little contour blended under the lips helps with volume. Let's go ahead now and do the other side. An important step not to be forgotten, make sure you place a little on the ears. Here we are at the halfway point. We have our eyes done and we've highlighted and contoured. Let's go ahead now and get into our foundation. We're going to use today the Louboutin foundation, mixing a little on the back of my hand. This is a great foundation for a dewy complexion that sets beautifully. It's a demi matte, so what's nice about this is that you don't have to worry about it moving, but it still looks like skin while it sets. I'm just lightly buffing the product back and forth between a brush here and then using a sponge to further set it. So lightly placing a little product on strategically and then going in with my blender and buffing any excess off while I'm also placing that firmly onto the skin to create a second skin-like finish. Look at the complexion. This is a 24-hour luminous wear matte foundation that looks like second skin. I absolutely adore it. Using the Chanel powder blush and rose petal, I'm going to go ahead and place a little bit of this on a loose fluffy brush on the outer edges of the cheek first, working up towards the temple to create a lift. Then whatever's left over, I will go and lightly place on the apples of the cheeks. Adding now a little to the nose, a little more on the apple of the cheek, and onto the forehead. Think of where the sun hits the high points of the face. Using the Chanel No. 1 Lip and Cheek Balm in Wake Me Up Pink. This is a beautiful luminous finish, and we're going to place that on the apple of the cheek and the outer edge of the cheek as well. This is really important because remember, we're trying to create balance between the matte foundation that's covering really well and also some luminosity because we want to have that hydrated, dewy finish. Using now the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm palette, we're going to start with the bronzer. We're going to place that on the outer edge, working up into that blush, onto the forehead, and do the same on the other side. We're just buffing that in to create some warmth and more definition for the cheek area. Using the same color, adding a little more to the brush, we're going to place that all over the lids. I love to set my cheek and bronzer color across the lids to bring everything together. We're going to go ahead now and add a little to that nose area, and then do not forget to add some to those ears. Adding a little bit of peach and pink to our brush, we're going to glaze those cheeks and put a little on the lids once again. Makeup artist tip. Every few steps, stop and assess the makeup look. How's the skin looking? Is the color in balance? How's your contour? How's your highlight? As you can see with her makeup, the blush is really starting to enliven the complexion, and the contour is already helping to shape the face, and the highlighting is brightening. We're going back now to our Hermes 05 palette to soften and shape a bit around the eyes. Using that cool brown color, I'm placing it underneath the lash line instead of a hard liner to keep everything soft while still being defined. Using the NARS face pencil in the color American Woman, we're just going to softly shape the lips. I love these because you can use them for eyes, lips, and cheeks to create a really quick, easy look. Great for brightening the complexion. Using now the Makeup Forever waterproof lip pencil in 14C, we really want to make sure that we're using a lip pencil as we age, because this helps to shape the lips and also helps to create a barrier so that the lipstick that we're placing on top doesn't move. As you can see, I'm moving around the lip ridge in light feathery strokes, building up my color, working every edge of that lip. Let's create some volume on those lips by adding a gloss. This is the Dior Maximizer. This has a little bit of a tingle to it to create some plumping. This is the color Rosewood, and I'm just lightly placing it all over the lips and blending it out. Feel free to just use gloss and skip the other two steps if you want something quick and easy to create a nice full pout. Let's take a peek before we do our final 3 steps. One of my absolute favorite products, the Lip and Face Gloss by Gucci. It's clear, and for those clients who want that dewy finish but don't want that glittery, shimmery effect that can sit in deeper set lines or fine lines, this is for you. It's beautiful anywhere on the face. I like to put it on the high points of the face or to soften the pigments in drier formulations such as foundations or powders. A little pressed on top helps to give you that beautiful facial-like glow that we all love. Let's set our makeup with the Chanel powder. Nice, lightweight, and brightening. I'm going to add a little to a triangle puff. I had to insert this clip because I think she has such a wonderful smile. But back to our powder application. Tapping off any excess powder on the palm of my hand, I'm going to strategically place this around the T-zone area, around the chin. We'll add a little under the eye, but you want to really go in with a light hand here because we want the skin to still be light and transparent and look as skin-like as possible. So less is more. Build up your powder slowly, work strategically. And here's a peek before our final step. Using the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Setting Spray, we're going to go ahead and set this makeup look. And here we have the final look. I think she looks absolutely beautiful, and most importantly, she feels beautiful, and that's what matters the absolute most to me. Thank you so much for watching. Questions, suggestions, feel free to reach out to me. Don't forget to subscribe. Use the affiliate links down below if you saw anything you liked here today, and head to CheriVoyage.com if you'd like to book me for a one-on-one Zoom lesson. You can also see me on TikTok and Instagram. Everything is in the description box down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Continue to take care of you and each other. Bye for now.